crimes against children always resonate with the public at large, but when the suspect is a mother, the person who was supposed to protect her child at all costs, the tragedy becomes a national drama. This is what happened in Kentucky in 2023. A 17-month-old girl named Elena died, and her mother, Erica Lawson, found herself at the center of a criminal case that caused a huge public outcry. This is not only a murder trial, but also a story about how one family's tragedy became the subject of discussion for millions. Erica Lawson was born in southeastern Kentucky, a region where poverty rates remain among the highest in the United States. It is a land of mines, small towns, and gated communities where everyone knows everyone. Her life was not easy. She grew up with limited opportunities, began an independent life early, but was never able to break out of the vicious circle of everyday problems. In 2022, she gave birth to a daughter, Elena. For the family, this was an event that was supposed to change everything. The girl was healthy, smiling, and became the center of attention for her relatives. But Erica herself looked exhausted, often irritable. Some neighbors said that she cared for the child, others that she lacked patience. July 30th, 2023 became the day of tragedy. On this day, Elena was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors diagnosed multiple injuries incompatible with life. Despite all the efforts of doctors, the girl died. For relatives, this was a shock. And for the police, it was a signal that this was not an accident, but a possible crime. To understand the course of events, it is important to reconstruct the picture of this day almost minute by minute. Morning. Neighbors noted that around 7 a.m. they heard a child crying from Lawson's house. This was usual for them. The baby cried often. The morning passed without incident. Noon. Around 12 o'clock, the situation changed dramatically. According to the investigation, it was at this time that the child received injuries. Medical reports showed that the injuries were severe and systemic. They could not be explained by a fall or play. Neighbors recalled hearing a loud scream and then silence. Afternoon. In the afternoon, Erica tried to call for help. The girl was rushed to the hospital. Doctors immediately noted that her condition was critical. Resuscitation efforts did not help. By 4 p.m., doctors officially confirmed Elena's death. Evening. Bell County Police arrived at Lawson's home. Living conditions were recorded and initial statements were collected. Even then, investigators noticed contradictions in Erica's explanations. Night. By midnight, the doctor's materials became the basis for initiating a criminal case. Erica was detained as the main suspect. In the days following the tragedy, several serious charges were brought against Erica Lawson: second-degree murder, willful omission, child endangerment, and concealment of abuse. Court documents indicated that the mother knew about the risks but did nothing. To investigators, this looked like a deliberate crime. Elena's relatives reacted differently. The girl's father demanded the harshest punishment, believing that the mother had deprived the child of a future. His words were quoted by the media. "My daughter will not get a second chance. Why should she get one?" Some of Erica's family tried to explain what happened by her weakness and psychological state, but the majority believed that no excuses were possible. The Erica Lawson case has become an example of how social media can influence real criminal proceedings. From the first days after Elena's death, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube became an arena where the tragedy was discussed by millions of people. One of the first sources of mass discussion was TikTok. Users began posting short videos with Elena's photos and news clips. Tens of thousands of videos appeared under the hashtag #Justice for Elena. In them, the authors talked about the tragedy, blamed Erica, and sometimes built their own theories. Some videos gained millions of views. They used sad music, photos of the girl, and captions like, "She deserved better." The comments included, "20 years? That's ridiculous. She should be in prison for life. I can't even imagine how a mother could allow this to happen. The death penalty is the only fair outcome." Many bloggers made entire series of videos analyzing court documents in detail, but some of the content was based on rumors. For example, unconfirmed versions of additional forms of violence were actively spread, which the examination never confirmed. Facebook became a platform for long discussions. Dozens of groups with names like Justice for Baby Elena and Remembering Elena were created in Kentucky. In these groups, people shared links to news stories, posted photos of candles and toys left in memory of the girl. But, at the same time, extremely harsh comments were posted about Erica. She belongs behind bars. The death penalty is not enough. Why didn't social services notice this sooner? Some users even wrote that the jury would have to hear the voice of the people and make an appropriate decision. Many true crime videos appeared on YouTube. The authors told Elena's story, recounted court documents, and conducted their own investigations. The most popular videos collected hundreds of thousands of views, but often facts were intertwined with guesses and emotions. Thus, viewers perceived speculation as truth, and this further increased the pressure on public opinion. In one of their motions, Erica's lawyers explicitly stated that the case had become hostage to the internet. They insisted that it is impossible to find a jury who has not seen TikTok or Facebook posts. The defense documents mentioned that hundreds of thousands of mentions on social media and tens of thousands of comments made a fair trial impossible. Journalists from People magazine noted in their article that this was one of the first cases in Kentucky when social media directly threatened the fairness of the trial. Erica's story became a reminder that in the 21st century, criminal cases no longer remain only in the courtroom. Any tragic incident instantly ends up on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, where it is transformed into content. For many social media users, Elena has become a symbol of the victim, and her mother a symbol of betrayal. The internet essentially passed a sentence long before the court did. According to information from the prosecutor's office, the materials indicated that the child's injuries were systemic in nature and could not have been accidental. The mother, according to the prosecution, allowed them to happen deliberately and concealed the abuse. The lawyers emphasized that the examination did not find any signs of sexual abuse or foreign DNA. They claimed that the process was distorted by pressure from the media and social networks. Initially, the prosecutor's office sought the death penalty. This was not uncommon in Kentucky, but a case where the mother could have been sentenced to the death penalty caused a particular stir. The media actively discussed this option. Society was divided. Some considered it fair, others said it was too cruel. In February 2025, a Bell County judge excluded the death penalty from possible sentences. The maximum was life imprisonment. On May 16, 2025, Erica Lawson pleaded guilty to murdering her daughter. She admitted that she knew about the abuse and intentionally allowed the dangerous conditions. As part of the plea deal, she faces approximately 20 years in prison. This plea was the final point. Now there was no doubt about her guilt. After the confession, social networks exploded again. People wrote that 20 years was too lenient a punishment. New hashtags appeared where users demanded life imprisonment. Journalists discussed the case on TV, in newspapers, and online publications. The question of why social services did not notice the danger earlier became central. Harvey Gallahan, a man accused of murder, cruelty, and illegal possession of a weapon, was also involved in the case. His involvement increased interest in the case. For many Kentuckians, he became a symbol of outer evil. People demanded the death penalty for him. True justice for Elena. Rallies were held in Middlesboro, demanding the maximum sentence for both defendants. The story of Erica Lawson has spread far beyond Kentucky and into national media. Almost every major news platform in the United States has covered the case. People magazine, one of the first major publications to take notice of the case, was People magazine. Their coverage focused not only on the facts of the investigation, but also on the role of social media. People journalists wrote that TikTok and Facebook literally torn apart the family's private tragedy. The article noted that Erica's defense insisted that public opinion had been poisoned by hundreds of thousands of posts that painted Erica as a monster even before she appeared in court. The magazine emphasized that the lawyer's motion included a specific number, hundreds of thousands of interactions. This proved that the scale of the online campaign was unprecedented for a small county case. In addition, People cited defense documents stating the medical examiner found no evidence of sexual assault and no foreign DNA. This was an important emphasis, since rumors about allegedly more brutal details of the crime were actively spreading on social media. Local television station WVLT covered the trial in particular detail. Journalists raised the issue of threats against Erica and her lawyers. The report said that many Bell County residents posted angry comments on social media and even directly addressed the court demanding the death penalty. WVLT also reported on the defense's motion to move the trial to another county. According to the lawyers, it is impossible to find a juror who has not heard of this case or has not formed an opinion in advance. In a small community where everyone knows everyone else, this was true. Almost everyone in the county had an opinion on the case before the trial began. LX18 approached the case from an analytical perspective. Their materials explained the legal nuances, why the judge in February 2025 removed the death penalty as a possible punishment. The journalists pointed out that the death penalty in Kentucky requires proof of deliberate, intentional murder. But in Erica's case, the charge was based on the wording second-degree murder, which emphasized inaction and deliberate creation of danger rather than direct intent to kill. Thus, even if society demanded the death penalty, the law did not allow it to be applied. This decision sparked a new round of discussions. Many residents called it unjustified leniency, while others, on the contrary, considered it the only correct one. Regional television channel WYMT covered not only the trial, but also the public reaction. In August 2025, journalists reported on the True Justice for Elena protests in Middlesbrough. At these protests, people held signs with the inscriptions, "Justice for Baby Elena," "We won't forget," "Protect our children." Local activists said that Lawson's case should become an example for the entire system. It is necessary to tighten child protection measures, strengthen control over families with signs of trouble. WYMT interviewed people who said directly, "She should be serving life." And for him, only the death penalty. By him, they meant the second defendant, Harvey Gallahan. WKYT was one of the first to report on Erica Lawson's plea deal. In a May 16, 2025 report, the journalists detailed the plea deal with the prosecutor's office and emphasized that the woman faces about 20 years in prison. This material caused a storm of comments on the internet. On social networks, people wrote that the punishment was too lenient. Many compared Erica's sentence to sentences for theft or drugs and said, "How can you give 20 years for the life of a child?" Several online publications published articles about how the Lawson case became a litmus test for the justice system. Journalists noted that it was social media that made it a national story. One blog even wrote, "While such cases used to remain local, now TikTok turns them into a show for millions of viewers." The story of Erica Lawson is a tragedy on two levels. First, 17-month-old Elena died, and then her mother's life was destroyed. The case became an example of how mistakes and inaction within a family can lead to disaster. It also showed how powerful the influence of social media can be on the perception of criminal cases. The main question remains unanswered. Could Elena have lived if someone had intervened in time?